You're now listening to Off the Collar.
Welcome back to another episode of Off the Collar. It's your host, Nick Johnson. Thank you guys for tuning in. With me, joining from the couch, Lauren Kuchar. It's cold here finally. It was a low of, it was like 39 degrees this morning. Frigid. So in order for me to get Lauren to do this episode, she was going to do it like this because she's cold. So, yeah. This week, what do we have? Oh, let's go with the story of the day. You getting your hair done today. Do you want me to give an introduction, or do you want to just jump right into it?
You can introduce it.
I can introduce it? Okay, so Lauren was getting her hair done today, but she already got it cut last week because the place she went to basically told her that they didn't have time to color it. So she had to go back today.
Which is so ironic now to think about it.
It is super ironic.
I was like, what would make it, like, it would probably be an extra 30 minutes just with some color in it before you cut it.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
So she went down to a place just down the street from us here in San Diego, and long story short, I was able to drive 30 minutes, go play golf, come back, take a shower, and she was still not done with her hair appointment. So your hair appointment was, what did we decide? Was it 4.5 hours?
Yep.
4.5?
4.5.
I don't know how you sit there for 4.5 hours. I was able to fly from, I was in Madison, Wisconsin earlier this week. I was able to fly back from Madison, Wisconsin in the time that it took for you to get your hair done.
Yeah, I know. It's not even funny.
Can you walk us through a play-by-play? Just give us a short synopsis.
A synopsis and a play-by-play are different things, but a synopsis, I went to get my hair colored. Usually when I get my hair colored and cut, it's no more than 2 hours. It's usually around the 2-hour mark, but no more, no less, usually. And today I was only getting it colored. So anyways, I'm in the chair, I'm getting my hair colored. 2 hours goes by, and I'm like, okay. 2.5 hours goes by, and I'm still getting my hair colored, and I'm like, holy shit, I'm going to be here for 3 hours. And then I get my hair washed, and then she's like, I'm going to put more color in it. And I was like, holy shit, I'm going to be here for 4 hours. So it just kept going and going and going. And I think she was trying to do her best. But at the end of the day, it's like a girl has plans. So I just really don't like when people say something's going to take a certain amount of time, and then it takes double that, because it's like I have other stuff to do with my day. But anyways, that's my story.
I just don't get how it takes that long. Like, who wants to be doing, like, even from the hairdresser's point of view, like, who wants to do just one appointment for 5 hours straight? Seems like a very inefficient way to make any money. I've never colored hair before except my own. So, do you actually know that story?
No.
It's not really that good of a story. I was a soccer player growing up, and a lot of soccer players always like dyed their hair. It's still kind of a thing today. I don't know who started it, but they bleached their hair, and I always wanted to, never did. So after like 8th grade, I think, or maybe it was, actually it might have been later. I think it was later. Doesn't really matter. I was high school probably, but I did like French tips. And it was just, I think my mom just did it in the bathroom. So it didn't turn out very good. It looked horrible when I wore hats, which I wear hats a lot. So, yeah, not really that pertinent of a story.
No.
But anything else we want to talk about before getting into the pick of the week?
I'm trying to think what shows or anything we watched.
What did we watch? We just watched the Chargers win. That was a crazy game.
I was gonna say, we haven't discussed the Love is Blind finale yet. Fucking some bullshit.
The
Love is Blind finale.
Yeah. The Love is Blind finale. I guess we'd have to give like a full, it feels like a long episode, but we could go into it if you want to.
Not super deeply, but
Okay. Should we just go into a pick? Fishbowl pick?
sure. That was sure.
Sorry. You want to talk about it?
It's ruined now.
Okay. So, Love is Blind reunion. The 7th season, I believe, just finished up, and we had been watching it all the way through, and it was probably, I think at this point, in my opinion, it's turning into a game show more than it is actually like trying to find the person that you're meant to spend the rest of your life with. Thoughts on the couples, like who you thought were going to make it, who weren't? Maybe you can introduce some of the people.
This season was a total train wreck, but I think you made a point of like it's more of a game show than a reality show at this point. Like it seemed like everyone there was there to play their own game. Like no one actually gave a shit to get like connect with each other. Kind of the same for The Circle last season too. Actually, I didn't even watch it because of the same reason. But anyways, a lot of the people got engaged or didn't, and then it kind of came to fruition that they didn't even like each other or whatever. So yeah, a train wreck overall, but a good show nonetheless.
I want to preempt that Lauren's hair turned out really good. It's not why she's wearing a hoodie right now. So, again, I just had to give her a blanket and a hoodie because it's cold, and this is the only way we were going to record today. So, yeah, I think there was definitely some unneeded drama and long-awaited drama. We basically just watched a reunion, and like the couples were just bickering at each other, except for the ones that were actually married to each other.
You know what's crazy though is that the reunion is an entire year after the finale, so all of these couples had a whole year to resolve their shit, and then they chose to not do that and to do it on camera. Like, waste my fucking time.
I feel like the producers probably tell them not to interact until the reunion because they need to get like the juice out of the show. So, you know, it might be even if they do discuss it, it might be like, and that's probably part of my game show thing now, is they know that there's going to be a reunion where they can spill the tea for everybody and, you know, all the things they want to get off their chest. And you can clearly see who's moved on and who isn't. And it's, I think if anything, the show is just a good way to show how people are, and we're all human, but it gives us some perspective in our own lives. I don't think it's a fully true experiment. Basically, Love is Blind, for anyone that hasn't watched it, you get in groups of like, I think it's 12 guys, 12 girls, and you all basically date each other, but you aren't able to see each other. You're on, like, you have a divider in between both the rooms when you're sitting and talking to each other. So you just learn the person's personality, and you get engaged sight unseen, is what they say. So I think that describes it fairly well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that was one show we've been watching. We really have been getting into Always Sunny and like Welcome to Wrexham. Those are some good shows that I think, because they're kind of reality shows, but they're kind of not. They're actually like real and following like a sports team, and we definitely like lean towards watching sports things, right? So, anything else?
No.
We can come back to it,
Mm-hmm.
maybe. You want to do a fishbowl real quick?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Fishbowl. Can you hold this? Tell people about your week while I'm getting the fishbowl.
My week? No one really wants to know about my week. I spent my week adjusting patients and coming home, making dinner, and that's about it. And I was lonely because you were not here, but that's fine.
You can go into that.
No one really wants to know my lonely feelings.
I was gone all week, so Lauren had the place to herself all week.
Yeah. You know what they say, distance makes the heart grow fonder. Oh no. I'm scared. You're laughing, baby. All right, let me read it. Show it to me. Speakerphone on a plane?
Mm-hmm.
What's the question?
So speakerphone on a plane is just like the icks and the things that are my pet peeves on airplanes or just in general, just in public. Like I hate when people just put. It happened on the flight I was on this one of the flights I was on this week. They just decide to go on FaceTime with everybody around with the speaker on full volume and you're having full conversations. Like it just bugs me. It's so rude. Like you can get on the phone if you want with them, but like the FaceTime part is what I don't get. That you need, like, do you really need the face-to-face interaction? Can't you just call?
Yeah. I love a FaceTime.
I know you do, but there's a time and a place.
Are we talking about airplane icks?
Yeah.
The question?
Or public X.
Okay. Well, my biggest pet peeve ever is when you're going through security and people don't know how to go through security and they wait for their stuff at the front and their stuff comes up and they start putting on their shoes, their headphones, their necklace. Meanwhile, everyone else's bag is getting jammed up behind. Like, they made a seat for a reason. Take your bag, move it to the seat, put your shoes on, and get the fuck out of everyone else's way. That's all.
I think I made a point to you earlier this week is like, I equate flying to the DMV. It's like, I don't dislike it, but there's nothing I like about it, is how I feel about flying. Just the overall process, the anxiety of getting to your flight on time, the anxiety of flights getting canceled. I could go into that this week. So I flew for work. I had to fly to Madison, Wisconsin. So there's no real direct flight from San Diego to Madison. So I had to fly from here to Dallas, Fort Worth, and then I had like an hour layover and then fly to Madison. Well, while I was on the flight, my flight to Madison got canceled and was rescheduled to 5 a.m. the next morning. So thank God I have my friend that lives in Dallas. I was able to spend a night, like I literally was just there for 6 hours roughly. It was a trip to see like when my flight was departing on the app because I could see it. Like I literally went to bed at maybe 10 Dallas time and had to wake up at 3 a.m. and it showed like your flight leaves in 6 hours. So the whole thing is just such a weird that they can't figure it out. I don't know if it's like a result of COVID or they just don't care, but I've never genuinely felt that a airline company has their shit together. Just every, like, what would be your top of the line airline? The only one I can think of that maybe is like international companies like Cathay Pacific or like, I don't know, British Airways. Do you have any? We always fly Southwest, so I guess.
I love Southwest, but if I'm not flying Southwest, I'm flying United because they're hella good. Only airline I don't like is American because their shit is always delayed or canceled. Period.
So what do you like about United? Like what makes I haven't flown on United forever.
Easy to get points like Southwest. I have a fair amount of points, so if you take any flight, they're gonna gather points. They have a good amount of flights. Like you can fly from here to London, you can fly from here to San Francisco. Like there's unlike Southwest, is just more like regional, and then there's other airlines that are mostly international. United kind of does both, so you can rack up points doing both things. And I know I always felt that they're fairly efficient. Their seats are comfortable. It's like that middle, like it's above Southwest, but it's not quite international yet. So it's kind of like that middle ground. And I always thought that they were pretty good.
What do you think like an average United flight would be? I mean, I guess obviously it depends on where you're going. But say like with a typical flight, we would fly from here to San Jose or somewhere in the Bay Area. What would it be, like 200 each way?
It would probably be similar to Southwest. The only caveat is that they probably charge you for a bag instead of Southwest. But, yeah, I mean, you can take United to London for like $600-700, so that's worth it to me.
Yeah, I mean, I think I need to do some chat GPTing or something to figure out what the best airline is out there. I just saw Spirit Airline went bankrupt or is going bankrupt. They owe like three.
Actually, you know what airline really is good too is JetBlue. I flew JetBlue to Miami a few times, and they have really, really good service. And their prices are like lower than Southwest, and they take you cross country. So
I always assumed JetBlue was kind of like a more private airline, but over the last couple of years, they've been more and more public, right?
yeah, I mean, I flew to and from Miami for $200, so that's crazy.
Yeah, that's really good.
And I had a whole road to myself.
I'm not sure what to take from that. It could have just been your flight, but
It's a cross country flight for $200.
yeah, that's true. The main thing was like I also had on my flight back from Dallas to San Diego, the bottom of my seat was broken in half. Like basically when you sat on it, it felt like it was just collapsed in the middle. So I could either like put my butt cheeks on the very front of it and I'm like leaning way like uncomfortably, or I'm like my butt cheeks are all the way in the back and I'm just sitting like ejector position, like straight up and down. So that was super uncomfortable. I really don't know why they can't just figure out like it's one of those things too. If I complain, it's going to deaf ears. Like nobody really is going to do anything. I'm not gonna get a refund or whatever. And then the lady next to me, this is where I have problems. Is like, and this has come up in a stand-up before. Jim Jeffries did this, where there's like a certain etiquette to being on a plane. If you have the aisle, you get a little bit of extra leg. If you have the middle seat, you get both armrests, and you have the window seat, you get the window, so you have something to lean up. I basically didn't have my armrest the entire time. This lady to the left of me was just like nudging me around, and then she was also knitting while she was watching a movie, so she was like stretching the yarn like into like across my face while I'm watching TV. So I don't know, maybe it's just me that I get annoyed by that, but I feel like there's no like manners anymore on especially airplanes, but it's also like accepted by the airlines, so there hasn't been a set precedent, and maybe that's just where it needs to be. Like I feel like there needs to be a reset button on airlines. They just need to make it a better experience for everybody, and I don't like you should look forward to traveling. The flying part should be a treat, especially how much money we pay for it. It doesn't feel like it. Like, unless you're flying private, which I've never done, but I would imagine the hassle is way less in every aspect of it because you know what you're getting yourself into, right? They're projecting an aura of what you're going to receive, where it's probably expected on some of these airlines that it is what it is, and you just got to deal with it, unfortunately. A bit of a rant, but
Always.
anyway, American Airlines, get at me. That was some shit. I don't know. That was a terrible flight on the way back. My back was so messed up. Thank you for adjusting me yesterday. That one adjustment you gave me where I was like, this was clutch.
Completely lost me.
Oh, geez. Well, Warren's a popsicle. So, do we want to get maybe a sneak peek of the topic for next week?
Sure.
Okay. Thank you guys for listening, by the way. This has been a bit of a last minute effort to put out a pod, but we're here to give you guys some entertainment for ourselves. I got some new glasses. I didn't even mention that. These things are quite wild. They're actually like a reddish. I don't even know. How do you describe it? While I'm getting the next one, why don't you describe my new vibe?
I don't even want to. Your rants are so funny to me. It's like, just read me. Give me the next question.
Finish your thought.
That's all I'm gonna say. Hot sauce Melinda's. Oh,
This is not an ad for Melinda's hot sauce.
it could be though.
Do you want to start?
I thought we were saving this one for next week.
Well, give a cliffhanger.
The cliffhanger is we're about to talk about some hot sauce.
Hot sauce.
Where do you want the hot sauce?
Where do I want the hot sauce?
Yeah.
This has been Off the Collar. We'll see you guys on the next episode. Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see you next time. I think it's time for us to go to bed.
Holy fuck, turn it off.
Anyways, thank you guys. See you next time.
This is Off the Collar. Check us out on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Music, or go direct to our link in the bio.